sure Dreamfire is as well. They're hearing the good news. KCP, on the other hand, hearing the bad news. And that's kind of the, I wouldn't say the drama, but I would say it is one of the stories of this where if we go again, what happens? If KCP loses that,
できてるのか、これ。これ入ってる？声入ってる？よし。
シアルティメットと合わせて、一気にスリブスにしてくるっていうのが
入ってるかな？
あるんで、なんでああいった門とかは後ろからの軌道が結構多いし、車線も結構通るっていうのは守り方が難しい。
これ入ってる？
結構ファイト力大事ですね。
お、オッケー。よし。これね、設定一部ね、めっちゃ高かったんだよね。
シアルティメットと合わせて、
これでしょ？ウィンドウキャプチャー入ってるかな？
ちょいって感じ。はい。なんでああいった門とかは後ろからの軌道が結構多いでしょうし、車線も結構通るっていうのは守り方が難しい。
今一までよくわかんない。だからまあいいや。そんな、お、オッケー。よし。これね、設定一部ね、めっちゃ高かったんだよね。なんもないの確認した上で今やってるから。これでしょ？ウィンドウキャプチャーつけよう。入ってるかな？今一までよくわかんない。だからまあいいや。あー、カオスになってる。オッケー。よし。これね、設定一部ね、めっちゃ高かったんだよね。なんもないの確認した上で今やってるから。これでしょ？さあどうする？入ってるかな？さあどうする？さあどうすればいいこれは。今一までよくわかんない。だからまあいいや。あー、カオスになってる。オッケー。よし、カオスになってるね。イヤホンの先から聞こえるんで。これね、設定一部ね、めっちゃ高かったんだよね。なんもないの確認した上で今やってるから。これでしょ？さあどうする？さあどうする？さあどうすればいいこれは。今一までよくわかんない。だからまあいいや。あー、カオスになってる。オッケー。よし、カオスになってるね。これ大丈夫でしょ？これどう？
Amazing talent up here, okay? It's been a while. High five to you.
Yep.
But you know, when it came down to kicking off this show, shout out to the crowd out here, alright? Because there were so many awesome
これ治ったはずなんだけど、治ってるはず。
the venue early with their signs, ready to have a good
いや、
time.
一旦
Okay,
切っ
so
た。
I'm ecstatic. The venue's
一
atmosphere
旦
is
切っ
there.
て、
Once we get into these games, we're gonna be just rolling all
こだまシャット
I
ダウ
mean,
ンして。
people have
これでいいでしょ。これ大丈夫でしょ。
Oh,
これどう？
the Dream Fire talent up here, okay?
そういうことか。
High five to you.
Now,
But you know when it
let's
came,
talk a little bit. 'Cause
死
we
ね
got a chance to obviously hear from Gino and Tiff before when we were talking about our teams to watch. I want to ask you.
理解した理解した
some
理解
teams
した
you're looking forward to watching compete here this weekend.
oh man, you know what? So for me, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a bias, okay? So you guys can get me on that one later, all right? But for some of the teams that I'm looking forward to, has to be Pioneers, LG. Okay, those are two like my squads that I would love to come out here and perform well.
Okay.
Outside of that, I'm the game against TSM. You know, they'll be great as well. But I did get a chance to talk to Nasky earlier, just because the simple fact is that they had never played Dreamfire
でも
before
拡大したら
when it
こう
came
なる
down
よね。
to
あ、オッケーオッケ
contested
ー。
builds.
まあいいわ
So。once we got that
これならいい
kickoff
わ。
before, they had already got reps in the day before. So it was interesting to see like how all that.
ちなみにこれはね、どっかのチームが落ちた。
And when we get that restart, we'll see.
どっかのチームが
Yeah, we heard.
試合に入れなくて落ちた。なんかよくあるじゃん。
We heard
カスタムでさ、
Dia talking about
どっかのチームが入れないんで
That's something we're definitely
一
paying
旦こ
attention
の試合中止にしますって言ってさ、この試合なしにしますって、いや時間考えろよっていろいろ言われて、配信者の人が自分がバカでした、もっと考えればよかったですって言ってるんですね。今そういう状況ね。
Barometer was one of the contests we were seeing there. Looked like Noctum got run out. They were, I mean, on the
もっと
map
考えればよかった
that,
です。
shout out to Sven, always helping
わ
us
ざわ
out
ざ
here.
集まってくれてるのに
Posting
どう
those
の
drop
こうのって
squads.
言って
Had them originally going
泣い
down
てる
to
やつ
fish
ね。
farms, but it looks like they are going to be contesting Entropic at Barometer. So yeah, obviously with the match restart, they get to have another shot at that. It looks like they got pushed down onto that very southern island. So Entropic not quite, clearing the 3v3, but certainly coming out on top there. And then we're talking a bit about that, the Dreamfire coming up against KCP over there at Mill. I mean, Dreamfire is someone we've been watching in Apex South. Obviously, this split we were just talking before about having their full roster back. But it's been interesting because they've had a bit of an identity shift over the last split or two. They were historically this immensely aggressive team. And they've sort of shifted a bit more to, focusing on the macro a little bit and making sure they're getting into the circle as well. But just having a chat to them yesterday, we did hear them. There was just a suggestion that Pete might be going back onto the core stick. And he was playing it way back, years ago, before anyone was, when they were one of the teams who could make that work. So I'm really excited to see if we get that pick back in action.
Oh, that sounds toxic.
We're gonna have to talk to Vicky about that one. I don't think Vicky
コマ
will be too
戦、いや
excited.
コマ戦どうしようかなこれ。
You know what? When it comes down to Caustic, you know what? I don't mind it too much, okay? It's annoying to play against, but when it comes down to my crypto, okay, I can get in, use my drone a little bit, use that EMP, get through, easy breaks there. But at the end of the day, Caustic, he provides great content for the ALGS anytime we see him. You like him or you don't.
Well, he's definitely better on World's Edge than Stormpoint is what I'd say, right? So maybe less likely to see him here on this map. But when we get down to those late games, is almost just invaluable. Those really small circles at the end, a caustic a gas grenade will pretty much fill up that entire space.
Now, when we're looking at these groups that we're going to be seeing competing here, the first match today will be Groups C versus D. Talk to me about some of these other teams that we're really looking forward to when it comes to their performance, because there were so many squads.
俺もうわざわざ優先にしたからね。
Fully
いつも
break
プ
all
レ
of them down.
フレ5に入れてるやつ。
Well, there's plenty we could talk about. Look, I've been watching so much Apex the past
優
couple
先
of
状態、
months
優先
and
PC、
even
優
then
先
some.
ノー
But
ト PC。
Gombre Otosan, and hey, for you those at home, I worked on my pronunciation.
Hey,
As did all
yeah.
of us, so don't come at me with that. This team, I cannot believe they're still orgless.
いや、
They
ガス
should
悪く
have
なん
gotten
な。
signed after Split 1
やっぱ
playoffs
り
if I
やめ
have
とくか。
anything to
限
say
界来る
about
よ
it.
ね。所詮一つの家の優
Newcastle, and
先
they
だ
were
から
working their way through Stormpoint.
普通にこの
It
ままでい
was
くか。
beyond impressive.
Well,
But this
well,
trio, second overall for most kills, by the way, coming out of
あの
APAC North
一
with
応セーフらしい。
188,
セ
very
ーフ
consistent, and I'm someone
グ
sign
レー
him,
ゾーンら
please.
しいんで大丈夫
I
で
mean,
す。安心してください。
You got to.
They have to.
Okay, the stats speak for themselves right there.
That's what I'm saying. And obviously we're focusing pretty heavily on those APAC teams, so let's also talk about some of these other regions. I mean, I think one of the teams that jumps to mind when we're talking about these two groups, for me at least, is Optic Gaming. I think we should touch on them here just a bit. Blaze, while we still have you up here, how are you feeling about Optic?
You know, when it comes down to Optic Gaming and we see their performance there from
この次から行くわ。
last split there, and they are one of the most consistent teams that we have there, especially when it comes down to their average kills per map, okay? Typically in like the top 3, top 5 for mostly all of them. But when it comes down to Optic Gaming, and especially the match point format on Sunday, they just got to stay focused, locked in, and close it out, okay? They're across the pond. We're not going to hear too many Optic Gaming.
今から大会が始まるけど、みんなが注目してるチームはどこかな？ 僕はね、オプティックゲーミングというチームがすごく人気なんだ。ほら見て、この真ん中についてのドロップと、右についてるのは、ノックドっていうか、
Honestly, the comms were a little heated, but the moment
ちなみに
they
これ合ってる。
resolved that, turned off the stream, dropped an immediate 16 elimination game. So I think they are so crazy good.
All
And
about their business.
yeah, we're talking about the addition, right? They're no longer playing with Duplex. That had already happened. Dropped is on the team. I think he brings an entire.
特になんか
I think he's
問
great.
題ある
It's
ことあ
been
る。
a really needed change for Optic, right? It feels like this land could be the redemption arc for Optic Gaming. That's where I see it going. Back in Sweden, obviously, they were crazy. There was a lot of people saying they were the best team at that tournament when they were just running through people.
その都
Had
度
a
調
couple
整
of
するわ。
lands since then. They didn't quite reach that same height. And now I think they finally.
とりあえずこれで日曜日も楽々できるな。
Really feels like we might get to see that peak Optic again.
That sounds good.
I mean, I would not be mad about it. Like I said, there's so many teams here that we can chat about. We're going to continue doing that for a little bit while we continue.
28,000人だけ
Match
ど
number one set up and ready. And one of the teams that I wanted
日曜日に
to
なった
touch
ら
on
多分
too, see if we can have a
4万人
little
ぐらい
bit
集ま
of
るんだろ
discussion
う
about
な。
specifically, I'd mentioned them when we were talking about our teams to watch. Ascent going up against TSM in that final play for our Split 1 playoffs. I mean, they are someone that I think it was me and maybe Gaskin who would pick them to potentially win the entire thing, and they were this close in that fight. How do we feel like they're going to fare this time around? Tiff, I'll send this one to you first.
Well, we all know Kashera is here on business. That man has been in the gym day in, day out, working on the mentals, the physical, the apex, and just watching that team play. And, you know, post-kill, incredibly talented. Him and Kashera go way back. But Lufka, who had recently been added prior to Split 1 playoffs, has just been an immense fragger for them. And if you listen to their comms and the way that they approach the fights, when Lufka comes in really clutch and can hang in there and stay tough, deal enough damage on that entryway, they've got this.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a change up this split, or sorry, maybe even just going from Split 2 into the playoffs, right? Because there has been a big, better shift with some of those changes we saw to Seer, especially really shook things up, and the interactions with Catalyst's wall as well. You know, I think it's made how Crypto fits into comp differently. Obviously, with Ascent using that previously, might change up how, you know, we see them approach this land, and that's definitely one of the things I'm going to be looking out for to see if they can adapt to that playstyle, because so many teams rely
結局
on the
18時から始まるっつって1時間経ってんだ。
the Seer Ultimate, the Exhibit, and the Catwalk combo during
でも
the
すごいのがさ、よく
everything's changed now.
1時間話つながるよな、
That time
この人た
between
ち。
playoffs and the split here.
いくら4人とかさ、
These
何人
teams
も
have
いよ
to
うが
work
さ
out that new patch. Can Ascend do that? That's the question in my mind.
すごい
Right
よ
now, I
ね
heard Tiff, I heard you mention, and I want to ask your opinion on this too, because we heard Rain Day talking about it before we went to that break here. As a former pro,
本来だったら試合始まってた
how
からな。
important is the mental when it comes to situations like this where you have to keep yourself in the zone?
Yo, it's super important in these cases, right? And you know, as you're
でもあれだね、リマッチしてくれたおかげで1試合目から見れるわ。
scenarios where it's like, okay, this is going to be tough. Okay, we want to have perfect practice right here. We don't want to just come out
どんな
here
感
and
じ
win
で言ってんの
sprints. We
この
want to
Q&A って
intentionally put ourselves in difficult situations. So in case you face it here on the main stage, that you're able to get up out of this. Now, just walking around the back, seeing the players warm up,
これさ、
everyone is extremely
遅延設定さ、
they know that this is business. They
超
understand
低
the
チェンに
pressure
今から変更
of
で
the
きないかな。
ALGS.
さすがに無理
Alright,
か。
well, we said it was bound to happen soon. Match number 1 ready to
やべ、始まる。Let's go!
Vamos! You sure?
いや、一旦いいよ。
Sure? Lauren? Okay. All right. She doesn't know. I trust her though. We've done a lot of events together.
T2 に従
I'm
ってくれ
excited to get
一
back
旦いいや
here as well, man.
もしかしたらやり直すかも。
Already got a bunch of offers. We're going to work on that a little bit later though. The game, the casting, the commentary, why we're here. The ALGS Global Series Split 2 playoffs. Now we begin.
And
通常の遅延らしいんだよね。
LG end up contesting this time.
遅延が
Let's knock them swap things up. We haven't got landings over at Mill just yet, but you know, Dreamfire and KCP. Oh!
Oh my god!
Not touch the ground!
また
Deuce!
Well, I said it before. Should I say it? Should I keep saying? Expect the unexpected.
マジか。
Expect the unexpected.
ようやく始まると思ったっけまたリマッチかよ。
Yeah, you know, and ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is what
どこの
happens.
調子が悪いんだ
You
こ
gotta
れ。
be ready to roll with the punches. And, you know,
もうそろそろ喋るのも辛くなってきてんじゃないこれ。
while the punches are coming, okay? Because that's all we can hope for. Seriously, Dia, this is going to test a lot of players.
モード変えればいいよ。
Like, it is.
We can see the chat. We can see the chat right now. This is going to test some players.
It is.
But
I am like So I know that we haven't even gotten the chance to look at the actual contest yet, or whatever is happening. But I am on like mini-map gaming right now. Like just the first drops are so dramatic.
Well,
one day they'll stick.
And again, you start to second guess yourself in terms of how do we approach this, because you could see that Dreamfire and KCP were going right back to mill. And I think this goes back to one of the bigger conversations that, yes, we want to see the gameplay, but so many people are just excited to see Apex in this format, not really sure all of the work that goes behind the scenes to establish why they're dropping in these places. Why on earth would two solid teams be looting the exact same place and going 50-50, or maybe one or the other in terms of getting out? These things all happen well before. And
いや、なんかいろんな理由があるんだけど、どっかのチームが参加できなかったりとか、これ、音量大きくない？大丈夫？
It is, and a big part of this also comes down to teams establishing their playstyle off of a POI. As an example,
ゲームに参加できなかったりとか、ゲームに参加したけど回線落ちしちゃったみたいな、そういう感じの、まあ、そういう感じのいろんなエラーが、こういう大会だからなるべく公平にいかなきゃいけないから、どんどんリマッチしまくるよ今後。つけ直そうかな、一旦つけ直そう。っていうチェンジします。ちょっと待って This is Apex! This is Apex! あ、もうどこ行ったか分かんないわ。いいね。テレボーゲーム。ゴミゲームって言われてると。愛されてるな。一旦つけ直すか。ちょっと低チェンジし